Hello and welcome to tonight's presentation. We're here today to talk about everything you need to know to be prepared for fall quarter. Over the last few weeks, we've gone over the ins and outs of living on our campus and gone through the steps of the financial clearance process. If you missed out on any of those presentations or want to review some of that information, you can find recordings of those at WallaWallaU.edu/workshops. My name is Trevor Congleton, and I'm the Associate Vice President for Marketing and Enrollment Services. I'm here tonight to introduce our subject experts and help answer any questions you may have along the way. Today, we have several subject experts with us. We've got John Nickel, our Director for Residential Life and Housing, is here to talk about the residence halls and student life. Carrie Butler, one of our financial aid counselors, is here to talk about finances and student employment. And as always, Mindy Coleman, our guest relations coordinator, is here with us to cover the rest and make sure that our panel covers the questions she hears most often from new students. At any time during this presentation, if you have a question, you can ask it by typing it in the chat box. We will get to all of your questions at the end of this presentation, which should take us about 30 minutes. If you'd like to download the slides that we'll be covering in this presentation, you can download them through the link in the panel on the right side of your screen. Mindy, why don't you get us started with tonight's presentation?
Let's get started by talking about MyWU. You've probably already had some interaction with this, but it's pretty important, so I want to make sure everyone is on the same page. MyWU is our online student portal. This is where you can see your class schedule, your account balance, information about financial aid, account transactions, your grades, and how much you've spent at the cafeteria or express. This is also where you begin the financial clearance process and where you will finalize registration during Jumpstart. Right now, the most important thing for you is to watch your to-do list. You can access this list on MyWU, and it notes the things that you have left to do before the year begins. You can click on each item for more information, and there are usually instructions for how to complete the task. As soon as you were accepted, you received login instructions for MyWU and were asked to choose a password. If you never logged in before, you'll find it's easy. For most of you, your username will be your first name, last name, and whatever password you chose. If you do have problems logging in, never created a password, or can't remember the password you picked, you can contact computer support by phone or email. When you send them an email, include your name, WWU ID number, and your phone number in case they need to call you. Parents, computer support will only talk to students about their account info, so if they need assistance, they will need to be the ones to call. All students are given a WallaWallaU email address, and it's important that you check it regularly. You'll receive lots of important information at that email. Once classes begin, this is the only email address the university will send email to. One thing you might be seeing on your to-do list right now is financial clearance. Carrie, can you recap a little bit about what financial clearance is and what families should be working on right now in terms of finances?
If you haven't finished your financial aid application, you should do that immediately. Right now, we're able to respond to you with your award letter within a couple of days of you submitting your application. But as we get closer to school starting, that delay will increase. If we are missing anything from you for this process, it will be on the to-do list that Mindy just mentioned. If you have questions about financial clearance, I recommend watching a recording of the presentation we did last week about the process. We cover everything in detail there. But to quickly review, financial clearance is a process that all students go through each quarter. It checks to make sure that you've made your down payment and completed any necessary forms for financial aid. The process is open right now for fall quarter, so if you haven't completed it yet, now's a good time to do it. It's a pretty straightforward process and it shouldn't take you much time. The first time it will take you a little bit longer because most students will have loan forms to complete and permissions to review, but after you make your down payment, it's about a 90-second process. The deadline to complete financial clearance is 4 p.m. on the Wednesday before classes begin. If you have not completed financial clearance by then, you will be dropped from your classes. And you can always register for classes again, but the class that you want may have been filled from the wait list in the meantime. You can know for sure that you're done with financial clearance when you see Bouncing Ben. When you see him, you can know that you've finished your classes and are protected from dropping. Once you've registered for classes and complete the financial clearance process, you are eligible to get your ID card. Freshmen will get their ID cards during the week of Jumpstart. You will need proof of identity, such as a driver's license, to get an ID card, and once your ID card is activated, which will happen after you've completed registration finalization, you can use it to charge meals in the cafeteria, books and supplies from the bookstore, and treats at the Express, a small mini mart and gas station. You will also use your ID card to access dorm rooms and buildings such as the gym and the library. And it's also great for getting student discounts at places around town.
Something else you might be seeing on your to-do list, and something you can be working on right now, is an immunization history form and a TB screening form. The immunization history form requires 2 parts: a record that you've received the required vaccines and a complete immunization history. You must have received a Tdap immunization less than 10 years ago, and you must be immunized for MMR. We also recommend that students living in the residence halls receive a vaccine for meningitis. A complete physical is not required, but is definitely recommended for new students. You may be able to take care of your immunizations and TB screening at the same time as your physical if you plan ahead. Having the full immunization history on file with us can come in handy if you decide to go on a short or long-term mission trip, choose to study abroad, or are in a health-related major like nursing. In addition to the immunization history form, all new students and students who have spent time outside of the United States or Canada during the past year will need to fill out the TB form. The form consists of 6 questions and has step-by-step instructions. We encourage students who are identified by the screening as needing further evaluation to be seen by their primary care provider and have the form completed prior to coming to WallaWallaU University. If you will be less than 18 years old when you arrive at WWU, it is important for your parent or guardian to sign the pre-authorization allowing the student to be seen in the clinic. This form can be found at wallawalla.edu/health. Students are required to have health insurance. That's a federal law. WallaWallaU University does not offer a health insurance policy for students to purchase. There are some resources and links to the health exchange available on our website. You will want to make sure your insurance covers providers within 25 miles of Walla Walla or whichever campus you will be on. Right now, many students may be thinking about finding a job on campus. Carrie, can you tell us about what a student should do to find a job?
Many students don't get a job until they arrive for Jumpstart, so don't panic if you don't have a job yet. Many employers want to see your class schedule and the class schedule of returning employees before they commit to new hires. But there are a few things you can do right now to get ready. Complete an online job application. This will be the first step for any on-campus job, and this same application can be used for any job you find. You do not need to complete a new application for each job on campus. Watch the job scene, our online job listing, to check for available jobs. And if you see any that are interesting to you, contact the department and let them know. You can also contact our office and have us forward a copy of the application you've already filled out. Once you have a job, there is some paperwork to complete. All students will need to complete an I-9 form. This is used to confirm your identity as well as your eligibility for work. So when you're packing to come to school, make sure you have some form of ID, such as a driver's license. You will also need a document that proves you are eligible for work, and this could be a birth certificate or a social security card. If you have a valid U.S. passport, that can be used for both requirements. These need to be original documents. We can't use a photocopy. You can, however, use these documents through a Teams meeting with student employment. Just contact the student employment office to set up a Teams appointment. You will need to complete a W-4 form. That tells us how many exemptions you're claiming for tax purposes. You will also need to provide your bank account information. We require either a voided check or a screen print of your bank account and routing number from your online banking profile. If you're under 18, your parent will need to sign a form authorizing you to work. And you can find all the details about working on campus at wallawalla.edu/student-employment. You may notice on the job scene that some jobs are listed as work-study jobs. WallaWalla University participates in 2 work-study programs. One is offered by the U.S. federal government and one by the state of Washington. Only students with a work-study award in their financial aid package are eligible for these positions. For the Washington State work-study program, you must be a Washington State resident. In a work-study job, the employer receives funds from the government to help pay student wages, and this has helped expand the number of jobs available. All our on-campus jobs are open to all full-time students. The work-study eligibility requirements are for off-campus jobs that are listed as work-study. Students are paid every other week. The first time you get paid, or any time you change your bank account information, your wages will get applied to your student account. And this is because the payroll system is sending a test message to your bank to confirm the bank account information. Every payday after that, your paycheck will be automatically deposited into your bank account. However, if you want all or some of your paycheck to be applied to your student account, you can certainly set that up with the Student Employment Office.
While we're talking about student wages, Carrie, can you remind us about BankMobile and how students interact with it?
BankMobile is the bank we use to disperse funds from your student account. After you go through the financial clearance process, you are going to get a green envelope from BankMobile as well as email reminders asking you to set up your disbursement method. They will want to know if you want disbursements sent as a paper check, deposited into an existing bank account, or do you want to open a BankMobile Vibe checking account? We recommend that you choose to deposit the disbursement into an existing bank account. An example of when you would request a disbursement might be when that first paycheck has been applied to your student account. If you want that money in your bank account instead, you could request those funds and they would be dispersed to you through whatever BankMobile process you've chosen.
John, would you tell us about Jumpstart and when students can move into the residence halls? By the way, last week we gave a full presentation all about residential housing. So if you have more questions about housing after this, I definitely recommend that you watch the recording at wallawalla.edu/workshops for lots of helpful info.
Jumpstart is a required week of orientation for all new freshmen. During this week, students get the chance to worship together, get to know each other, attend helpful presentations, and take care of tasks such as financial clearance, lining up a job, and meeting with their academic advisors. You can register for Jumpstart at wallawalla.edu/Jumpstart. The fee for Jumpstart includes all your meals and lodging for the week, as well as a guidebook for the week and 1 hour of college credit. All students should bring a mobile device like a smartphone, iPad, or laptop for use during the sessions you'll be attending. Students who are attending Jumpstart can start moving into the residence halls by appointment starting on Sunday, September 19. If you have not yet signed up for a move-in time, you can do that at wallawalla.edu/residence halls, and we will send you all the information you need for that process. Offices around campus will be open to assist you and your parents in checking off the last items on your to-do lists. The bookstore will also be open, but we recommend students wait until after they've met with their academic advisor to purchase their books. Later during Jumpstart Week, the bookstore will have a special time for freshmen to purchase their textbooks. If you haven't yet made housing arrangements and you're planning to be in the residence halls, you should fill out the residence hall housing application online. Of course, you have to be accepted and have paid the enrollment fee before we can assign you a room. If you're not going to be living in the dorm, you will need to complete a village housing approval form that tells us where you will be living. As a general rule, we expect our incoming freshmen to live in the residence hall unless they meet one of the exceptions listed on the screen. If you're eligible to live outside the residence hall and have not applied for housing, please complete an online application at wallawalla.edu/village. All of our students are automatically enrolled in a system called OmniAlert. This is our emergency campus alert system. In an emergency, students will receive alerts via text messages and emails, and in addition, our campus siren will sound. Parents are able to opt in to also receive these alerts by providing their contact info at wallawalla.edu/OmniAlert. They will receive the same messages as our students. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what the move-in process will look like. In order to keep everyone safe and healthy during the move-in process, we are requiring, as you know, that everyone make an appointment to move in. Check-in areas will be located in the lobby of your respective residence hall. A few things to be aware of. First of all, please stay home and let our deans know if you're experiencing any symptoms of COVID-19. Call our deans and we'll make alternate arrangements for you. Also, because of the 4-hour window for moving in, we're recommending that you will only bring the essentials and limit the number of boxes and items that you will need to bring into the residence halls. You can always bring more stuff as the year goes on. Be aware that we will only be allowing 2 vehicles per student during move-in, and you can only bring 2 guests with you to assist with the move-in process. If there is any change to this exception, we will communicate it out. On the day of your appointment, please arrive to the designated check-in area on time. Resident hall staff will greet you and assist you in filling out housing documents. Once checked in, residents will be allotted 4 hours to move into the residence hall and unpack with those assisting you. Please arrive at the time you signed up for to ensure that the process moves smoothly. Additional move-in information such as maps of designated check-in areas and short-term or long-term parking will be sent out closer to the move-in day. If you have any questions about this, just drop them in the chat box now and we'll answer them at the end. We'll be sending out more detailed information to you as we get closer to move-in day.
Most of our incoming freshmen and transfer students are already registered for classes and can see their class schedules on MyWU. If you're not yet signed up for classes, be sure to book an appointment with academic advisement at wallawalla.edu/get-my-classes. If you've signed up for classes, but they aren't showing up in MyWU, make sure that you've paid your enrollment fee. If you've paid that fee but still aren't seeing your classes, give academic advisement a call and we'll work it out with you. If you want to make changes to your class schedule, you can call the academic advising office, or you can wait until Jumpstart week when you meet with your academic advisor. That's a great time to discuss changes. All students are assigned an advisor, and if you're attending Jumpstart, we've already set up an appointment for you to meet with them during the Jumpstart week. Mentors are another great resource for our students. We have a mentoring program that focuses on individualized support and encouragement as students transition from high school to college. Mentors assist in helping students take ownership and responsibility for their college education and career goals. Mentors are trained to provide a curriculum that encourages a balanced experience of academics, spiritual life, and social life. You get to choose your mentor during Jumpstart. And during the rest of your freshman year, you meet weekly to talk about how your classes are going, deadlines that are coming up, what your academic goals are, and what campus or community resources might be beneficial for your success. Students who have gone through this program tell us that having a mentor helps them feel connected and supported. We have found that freshmen who meet regularly with a mentor are more likely to stay in college. They get more out of their classes, and they have a better college experience overall. Also during Jumpstart Week, you will go through a process called registration finalization. This is a final review process that you access on MyWU, and it ensures that you've done everything needed to become a student at WallaWallaU. This process checks to make sure you've completed financial clearance, done the necessary paperwork with the university clinic, been assigned to classes, and met with your advisor. When you complete this process, you'll see Jumping Einstein. This indicates that you've finalized your enrollment and your ID card is now electronically validated for charging. This also means you will be able to sign up for clubs. You won't be able to see Jumping Einstein on the first day of Jumpstart. This is because Jumpstart is a transition period. You are now starting to take responsibility, and your parents will no longer be taking care of everything. During Jumpstart Week, after you've met with your advisor and completed any remaining items on the to-do list, you will be able to finalize registration and see Jumping Einstein on your own.
After Jumpstart is over and we move into the school year, parents often want to know information about their student, usually what their account balance is and what their grades are. However, the university cannot share this kind of information with anyone except you, the student. There's a federal law called the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, which is more commonly known as FERPA. This federal law applies to a student starting the first day of classes. So through Sunday, prior to the first day of classes, we can talk to parents. However, once classes start, we have to have the student's permission. Of course, we will be very careful what information we share prior to classes starting. This law applies to all areas of campus, but it's with finances that most parents run into this issue. We need to have your permission before we can talk to your parents about your account. We also have to have your permission before we can mail a paper statement to your parent. It's easy for you to grant permission. On MyWU, you can tell us who we can talk to, who we should mail a statement to, who we should send email reminders to, and who we should not talk to. You can also choose to have statements mailed to multiple people. You can also authorize other users to see electronic statements. This is also why your parent cannot call to reset your password. Because of FERPA, computer support can only reset the password if you, the student, contact them. If a parent wants to see your grades, they have to get them from you. We don't mail grade reports to you or your parents. You will be able to see them, your grades, on MyWU as soon as the teacher has submitted a grade. And you get to see them the same time we see them.
That's just about all the topics we've planned to cover today. We have a complete list of steps to enrollment that you can follow to make sure you've done everything you need to. That list can be found at wallawalla.edu/new steps. This list will give you general instructions on how to complete each step, and if you ever have any questions, you can call our office and we'll be happy to help you out. And don't forget to check the to-do list on MyWU for your personalized and actively updating enrollment steps.
All right. Thank you for all that great information, Mindy. We're almost ready to start taking some questions, so be sure to type them into the chat box on the right side of your screen if you haven't done so already. But before we do that, I want to point out some important dates for everyone to keep in mind. As John mentioned earlier, the residence halls will be open for move-in by appointment on Sunday, September 19th. Jumpstart also begins on that same Sunday and will run through the 24th. This is a very important week of orientation for all new first-time college students, and all incoming freshmen are required to attend. If you haven't yet signed up to register for Jumpstart, make sure you do that as soon as possible at wallawalla.edu/jumpstart. Then, by Wednesday, September 22nd, you should have paid your down payment, completed any necessary paperwork for student loans, and have signed your financial clearance online. Student Financial Services has already sent you an email on what you need to do. These emails went primarily to the incoming students' email inbox, so students, be sure that you are checking those emails regularly, and also occasionally you can get stuck in a spam or a junk folder, so make sure you're checking those as well. We also gave a presentation 2 weeks ago walking you through the process of financial clearance, and a recording of that presentation is still available at wallawalla.edu/workshops. Then on Thursday, September 23rd, we'll have a transfer student orientation session designed only for incoming transfer students. Our academic advisement office will be sending out information about this to transfer students as it gets closer. By Sunday, September 26th, you should have completed your registration finalization, seen Jumping Einstein, and purchased your textbooks. And then on Monday, September 27th, you begin your college education at Walla Walla University. On the screen now, we have some phone numbers that you might find helpful if you have any questions after this presentation. All right, let's open it up to the questions and answer portion. Make sure that you're typing in your questions into the chat box on the right side of your screen. We've seen a couple come in already, but now's a great time to put those in there so we can make sure we answer them before we end for the evening. Okay, let's see. First question, and it looks like it's going to be for you, Carrie, is you mentioned we can use our ID cards at the Express. What is the Express, and is it connected to our meal plan or Flex Dollars? Let's see. There you go.
Guess I've got to turn the camera on, don't I? Okay. The Express is a Shell station, and it's a mini mart that's owned by Walla Walla University, and you can use your ID card there to charge up to $80 a month. You can buy things like gas, you can get a snack, they've got a grill there, you can purchase something to eat there. at the grill. However, you can't use your meal plan or your flex dollars there. Those are only for the cafeteria and for the SAC downstairs. But if you want to track your spending at the Express and just see how much you've charged every month, you can go on to MyWU and check that.
Great. Thanks, Carrie. Another question is, are new students required to have a mentor? And I'll take this one. Yes, all freshmen and new transfer students will have a designated mentor. Our studies show that having a mentor improves your success at WWU, and we've also noticed that oftentimes the people who don't initially want a mentor are the ones who end up benefiting the most from it. So it's well worth it. Kind of think of them as your cheerleader throughout your first year in school. Next question, this is going to be for you, Carrie. I'm from Canada. Can I work on campus? Good question.
Yes, as long as you have a student visa, you can work on campus. Now, if you're not a U.S. resident, you cannot work off campus. Your student, and also it's good to note that your student visa doesn't allow a spouse or children to work.
Great, thank you. Another question is, do students need to declare their COVID-19 vaccination status before starting at WWU? I'll go ahead and take this one. Great question, and the answer is yes. According to the most recent Washington State's mandates, we are required to have our students report their vaccination status to us, and that can be done through the MyWU account. If you just log in there, you'll see that in like one of the main areas where you can report that. All of this data will be held privately and will only be shared with essential WWU personnel who will be monitoring the health of our campus in regards to the COVID-19 pandemic. Students are allowed to tell us, though, if they have been fully vaccinated or if they are requesting an exemption for a medical, philosophical, or religious reason. So you can do that. We just ask that you report it to us as early as possible, so that way we know kind of what campus will look like in terms of who's vaccinated, who's not, so we can make sure we're taking appropriate precautions. Let's see. Next question is going to be, where do students go for tutoring? John, do you want to take that one?
Sure. We have a tutoring center in the basement of Village Hall. And Village Hall is right off of College Avenue, right next to Foreman Hall. And right in the base area of that building is where you can go for tutoring. You can schedule that, I believe, in person and virtually for this next year as well.
Great. Thanks, John. Next question is, will the general health questions the dorm staff ask students include one regarding the COVID-19 vaccine? John, that's your area as well.
Hey, I'm back. No, that is not something that we are going to be asking in that. We're mostly going to be just doing symptom check just to make sure that everyone is in the best health possible for the move-in. But part of the question is making sure that the attestation on MyWU has been completed prior to moving in.
Great. Thanks, John. This one, it looks like it's going to be for you, Carrie. Where do you go within your MyWU account to set permissions for parents?
There are actually great instructions online. I'd be happy to send those to you. But if you can type in add a parent, something like that, and you should get step-by-step instructions actually on the website.
Great. Next question is, how do I check to see if I have registered for Jumpstart or not? Easiest way to do that is to either call our recruitment office. We can help answer that question. You can also check with the academic advisement office, who's in charge of Jumpstart. Also, if you'd like to, feel free to email me. I can check that for you. My email is Trevor, so just TREVOR @WallaWallaU. So Trevor @WallaWallaU. Shoot me an email during this presentation or afterwards. I'm happy to pull it up and see if you're registered for Jumpstart already. Let's see. Next question is, how can you, if at all, choose your mentor within MyWU? That's a good question. I believe that information has been sent out to those that have registered for Jumpstart, letting them know that they can. I think somebody said earlier that it was through, was it D2L? John, do you remember, or Carrie?
I believe that it is through D2L.
Which is Desire to Learn software that they can check. And I think that actually may have opened up this week where they can look to see profiles of the mentors and can select them earlier.
Yeah.
If you have more questions about that process, that's done through the academic records office. You can always call them if you have questions about the mentor process. Sorry, John, did you have something you wanted to add to what I said?
Nope, I was just going to say that last part that you said. So we're copacetic.
Perfect. Great minds think alike. Let's see. Next question is, if a freshman student brings a car to use while in college, do you have to like register your vehicle before you come up, and is there a fee? John, do you know the answer to that one?
Yeah, so you would register your car once you get here on campus, and I believe the fee is $45.
And is that for quarter or per year?
Per year.
And that's to kind of help with like upkeep of the parking lots, appropriate lighting, that kind of stuff is how we use those funds.
Correct.
So it's helpful for us in keeping things looking nice. Let's see. Next question is, there's a family that's planning to come on September 16th. The student plus them, parents, and they're wondering about possible places to stay. There are a number of local area hotels that you are more than welcome to stay at. We don't actually have lodging currently available for you guys. John, do we still have our on-campus housing shut down? I mean, like the rooms?
The guest rooms?
Yeah, guest rooms.
We do have limited ones. The Havstad guest rooms may be available, so I would recommend contacting Havstad by going onto our WallaWallaU website and looking online for the Havstad guest rooms and seeing if they are available. They're limited rooms
for quite a while. They've been not open for a while.
Yeah, there's limited space, but reaching out earlier is best practice.
Yeah, but like I said, you can always check with local area hotels. We've got hotels within probably about 5 minutes of us. There's a Hampton Inn. There's a Comfort Inn. Most general chains are available either in like WallaWallaU is where most of them are located. So feel free to check there for places where you can stay. Next question is, will any class book lists be available early? So if you go on to the University Bookstore website, you can go and look and see what kind of books you will need for particular courses. We strongly recommend you wait to do that process until you're up here because they actually will give you good information about how to do that through the Jumpstart process. And also the bookstore has a number of rentals that are available as well as used books. So you may actually find them to be pretty cheap and pretty competitive to other prices you'll find. So we generally recommend, at least for this first quarter, you go through that process rather than trying to get all of them lined up beforehand. Let's see. Next question. Oh, wait, I think I already answered some of these ones. Yeah, I did. One of the questions was, here's one. And we're getting close to the end of the questions that you guys are asking. So if you have any more questions that we haven't answered yet, either myself, John, or Carrie, please jump in and ask them now. Can mentors view students' grades? That's a good question. Carrie or John, do you know the answer to that one?
I believe that the mentors do get alerted if there is anyone that does have any lower grades or has any reports. I don't know specifically if the mentors do see that, but I believe that information is brought to them.
I think I don't think that they can see necessarily individual grades, but they are alerted that, hey, like here's an early warning sign that this student may be struggling, so that they can try to offer appropriate resources like connecting them with tutoring or encouraging them to talk with the professor. But I don't believe they get in like individual grades and know exactly what that is. But I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that that's what the answer is. All right. Well, it looks like that brings us to the end of our question section. I want to thank John, Carrie, and Mindy for sharing with us this evening. And I also want to thank Jennifer Boyko, who's been helping us behind the scenes running the presentation software. I also would like to thank all of you for watching this presentation. And I hope it was helpful and that you feel prepared for starting fall quarter at WallaWallaU University. If you missed any of our previous presentations, like I said earlier, feel free to go watch them, the recordings, online at wallawalla.edu/workshops. We'd love to have your feedback about today's presentation. When we sign off, please take a moment to take a brief survey at wallawalla.edu/comment. We'd really like to know what you thought and how we can make this presentation better for the participants next time. If you think of something you forgot to ask, or later on down the road, if you have a question about enrollment or anything that's WallaWallaU University related, you can always give us a call at 509-527-2327, or feel free to email us at info@wallawalla.edu. We're here to help, and we love helping people. We look forward to you being a part of our family this fall quarter, and we wish you and your family all the best this evening, and we hope you have a wonderful night. Take care.